Good.
Okay. I guess we should talk about the obvious elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Our new studio. So pals, we're on a budget.
Pals are bankrupt.
But it's okay. You know, hard times.
Iron forges iron. Iron sharpens iron.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, pressure makes diamonds. Tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Yeah, there we go.
So we'll be through it.
So yeah, we're recording. So I guess the backstory is the people who don't know, who just kind of started watching. We used to record at George's amazing condo, and George has like loft, big natural light, like nice open space. Lives a little bit outside of the downtown core. I live in the downtown core, where like I'm literally in the middle of a concrete jungle. You go out this balcony, it's just condos everywhere.
Yeah, the one place in the world I wouldn't live is like right here.
No, I'm like, I love living here. I just don't like actually being here.
You never get tired of it, like being here?
I love it.
Really?
Mind you, again, I don't drive through traffic unless I'm going to an event, right? So if we're not recording this podcast tonight after work, I'll go back to the gym. I'll go to the office, eat dinner at the office, then either come down here if I have to do something or go to my parents' house and just chill. Like for me, this place is to do stuff. I want to do stuff when I'm here. I don't want to actually sit here.
That's so interesting.
Like even cooking dinner.
Really?
Anytime I cook dinner by myself, I'm annoyed. I'd rather just like go to Moretti, or I'll go to Belly Busters, go to Calsan Road.
You don't like being home ever.
I don't like being home. Unless the plan is to do something at home. Like if I'm here with someone.
Why is that?
I just feel like whenever I'm at home and I'm like doing nothing, I just feel that I'm just wasting away. I feel like I'm not getting the most out of life.
Interesting.
Like if I sit at home at 5 o'clock and I come home and I just like sit around, go on my phone, it's like, what am I doing? If I die tomorrow, is this what I did my last night alive?
Yeah, but like, well, I don't know how to dissect that, but like, don't you like being alone with your thoughts at times? Just like sitting and relaxing and just like...
At the gym, I'm alone with my thoughts. If I'm going for a walk, I'm alone with my thoughts. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts doing nothing. It's just boring.
Yeah, like, why can't you cook?
Cook for one is boring to me.
I love it.
Because I need to cook by myself, I need to eat by myself, and I need to clean by myself. That's just boring.
Yeah, I get that, but then like...
And I hate cooking for one or two because I feel like it's a waste of money.
Yeah, but like I'm always meal prepping.
So I'm going to cook for like 6, but then I'm stuck eating the same 6 meals for...
Well, no, like let's say like I make a meal tonight. I'll eat whatever I don't eat tonight tomorrow, but like I'll do a little variation of it for my lunch. And then that's my lunch. So I eat the same meal for at least 2 meals a week. Well, every night and every next day.
What do you meal prep?
Huh?
What do you meal prep?
Anything and everything.
Like every week you meal prep?
Like the night before. So like whatever I make for dinner, I eat for lunch the next day or some variation of it. And I do the same thing every night. Because it's also my time that I don't have to study. I don't have to do work. I don't have to talk to people. I put my phone away and it's just me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I
like doing that. Like if I had someone with me doing that, okay, great. But like I also love being alone sometimes because I'm always with people.
I love being alone.
Like I haven't been home in a couple of days and I'm dying to be by myself.
I'm alone when I'm driving. I drive about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. I'm alone.
Yeah,
when I'm at the gym, I'm alone for an hour.
Hold on a second. When you're driving, are you calling people or are you listening to music?
No, I just usually listen to music.
At the gym, you're
listening to music.
Yeah. See, like, but it's you're still getting some form of stimulation. I guess. Well, in fairness, when I'm at home too, I'm like doing something. But even like before Becca and I lived together, I genuinely would love going home and doing like, we say nothing, but just like relaxing. I actually prefer, it's weird. I'm the opposite. I prefer that than going out every night. I've actually, you guys know this, like I don't come out to as many things now because I'm trying to prioritize where I put my time and like how I use my time. And to me, one of the most important things is just having like personal time to do the things, like do things that I think theoretically make me better. That's not saying like what you're doing is not making you better because you want to work out. You're doing things that are physically active that, you know, if you're good physically, then naturally one assumes that it helps you mentally because you're in a good good physical state, so a good mental state. But being able to like just stop and close, like, kind of shut your mind off, either literally like shut it off, like not have to think, or do something that is more mentally stimulating than physically. So like reading a book, listening to a podcast, cooking, where you can be with your own thoughts and you're not getting that external stimulation. I think it's kind of nice. I love it.
I know. For me, it's like I also love meeting people. So like again, the only way to really meet people nowadays is by going out and doing things. Whether I'm at the gym, a concert. Sometimes I go to my other gym because I know it's a social thing, and I'll do a random class that I don't care about, and it's even a good workout just because you'll make 1 or 2 friends, right? Like sometimes I'll go for walks with people. Like me, Danny go for so many walks. Vicky joins us, DB, because you just want to be outside and like again, it's just doing things for me. Yeah, honestly, that's it. I like doing things.
Yeah, I think I've just changed since I got back from Europe. At least I think I just changed what I wanted to prioritize, and that's like not to say that I don't want to prioritize doing stuff with like friends and meeting people in my personal sphere, but a lot of what I do now because of like how just work's been like our company's growing and we're trying to do some pretty cool big things. Most of my time when it comes to the social aspect, I try to like merge the two and make it so it's like social but also like professional development related. So like rather than calling up the buddy saying, hey, let's go for a drink tonight or go for dinner, it's like, can I, meet up with a customer or a potential customer or someone on my team and go for like lunch or whatever. So I try to kill get that enjoyment in a different sphere so that when I get home, I don't have to feel the need to go and do that
Yeah, try to kill two birds, one stone.
Yeah. Anyways, how do we get on this topic? About being here?
Yeah, about being here. Yeah.
You're not a fan of this new studio setup, eh? That's
no, again, look, would I prefer to record out of our studio? Yeah. Like, if we're going to record here or some random other little box, like, okay, I don't mind recording here because at least this is my home. I don't have to leave after. But our studio was just genuinely, I remember you said this, you're like, it was such a bad investment. And I'm like, I don't think so because it genuinely just made me happy. Sitting in there and just like, now that the walls are so covered, like there's days I'd sit on the couch, I'd be on my phone just looking at the wall. I'm like, oh, I remember that episode. That was fun. Or that one or that moment. I just it genuinely made me happy. Maybe it's also the good lighting in there, the CN Tower view. It just genuinely made me happy.
Yeah, but I guess in fairness too, though, that is a material thing bringing you satisfaction and joy. Like those moments could be created anywhere, independent of the situation.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Right? 100%. It's the people that made those moments. Yeah. And like the CN Tower, okay, I mean, we can just pause this podcast, walk outside, and go look at the CN Tower. I know what you mean, but it was from a financial perspective, it's a bad investment.
Yeah, we got zero financially. We got nothing out of it. It's like Cast. Was Cast a good financial investment? No, but in reality, was it a good investment in our lives? Amazing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not comparing the two, but you got.
But I think to your point too, Ricky, just even sitting in the studio, why did you get people to sign the walls? To remind yourself. It was kind of like a yearbook that you have, just right in your face every single day.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We'll make some new memories.
Well, to be clear, like the studio's not, it is right as of right now, it's probably like a thing of the past, but like never say like never, like maybe there is something that comes out of it, like something could materialize.
Maybe down the road we get another one.
Yeah. But the thing is too, people are going to be like, whoa, why are they different setup? I mean, at the end of the day, trying to be fiscally responsible, and our studio, we got our place at a very good deal, and when we first secured it, it was not to say free, but like it was really cheap for the space we had. Relative, like an office space in like the heart of the city, in a cool neighborhood. Yeah, had parking. Like it was a very, very like it wasn't. When I say a bad investment, it's like it served its purpose, and what we spent on it, like it didn't feel like we were burning money because we did use it. But then now
we had sponsors too, so that changes everything.
Well, yeah, and it was a net. When you have sponsors, it offsets the cost. But the thing is too is that our landlord raised the rent on us by like a relatively speaking a crazy amount. Like it's percentage wise, it was a massive increase, which is weird because like office spaces in the city are not. Maybe not in high demand, like I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, people are not necessarily taking up office space and jumping at it, even though Toronto is a great city to be in and work in and live in. And yeah, it just kind of put us in a rock and a hard place. So anyways, we'll leave it at that and see. I mean, the company Pals doesn't generate significant revenue to justify it.
Lose.
So yeah, I mean, we don't have theoretically we don't have the money to pay for the studio space. It is what it is. So we've kind of gone back to recording here because
our roots.
At least my perspective is that the podcast was not about a place or anything. It was about the podcast. And like, for me, is like, as long as we're still doing the podcast, I don't care where we're doing it. I mean, with a caveat, I don't want to do it back in my place because now I live with someone else. So that's why we're here now.
This could be a great thing. What if we just like blow up tomorrow? What if people love it?
And
then I move out and this just becomes a podcast studio.
Danny with the gambler's fallacy over here. Come
on, you sound like Ricky with thinking.
You sound like Ricky with Cast. What if it blows up tomorrow?
You never know.
You never know. This could be like a switch that we needed to like. Maybe we were getting too comfortable there. Like this could be like that switch that we needed.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. We still have some. We have some pretty big episodes lined up. Like we've got our partnership with Universal where we do a lot of artists from them. That's super cool. We're gonna get some more athletes on. Like I miss the days of doing Olympians. I feel like me personally, I've been loving all these concerts. So doing a lot of these musicians were super cool. But when we started, we did so many Olympians at the beginning.
Right. We had Don for the first time, like at our company. We even had like, what's his name? Who's the guy from the radio station?
Kevin Cabby?
No, not Cabby. It was one of the early ones.
Oh, yeah,
Kiss 92.
Devo Brown.
Devo Brown.
Penny Alexiak.
Donovan Bailey.
Jonathan Osorio.
They all came to the condo. Jonathan Osorio came when we were upstairs in the condo.
Jonathan Osorio came like episode 10.
Yeah.
I messaged him the other day, him and Liam Fraser, because they both got the World Cup.
Yeah.
They got selected for the team. Well, Oso wasn't a shoe-in, but Liam Fraser was kind of like a fringe player, and he got accepted, so I messaged him. Like, congrats, man. This is like crazy. There's a video of him like crying when he got the call. Yeah, man. I'll show you after.
He's a good dude. Liam Fraser. Like,
I talk to him like once a week.
He'll hit. I don't have my Instagram. I don't have my Instagram anymore, but he would like message me like, man, just so, it's they're nice people, but it's kind of cool like when you're doing this, because you sit down with people that you like. I'm not just gonna call up Jonathan Stars, hey, you want to go for a coffee? Like, probably it's like, no. The podcast gives you a reason to talk to these people, but it also feels, even though you don't get starstruck, like the only podcast I was actually nervous for was Donovan Bailey coming to the condo. Like that one, I was actually like, because it's Donovan Bailey. Like you think, you're a kid, you remember him. Everyone else was cool, and you get like these kind of tingly feeling like, oh my God, these guys are coming to sit down with us. For the most part, during the episodes after, they're just normal people, and they act that way. So it's cool, and it's not like this like, you don't get that feeling of like, oh, it's a celebrity kind of thing. But then like when someone like Liam Fraser or Osorio like comments on your picture or message, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's a cool feeling. It's probably like the ego side of it being like, oh wow, this guy plays for this team, and it's but it is they're so nice, and the fact that they take time out of their day, because they're obviously very like busy and important, doing these crazy things, playing the World Cup. But they'll message you and respond to your message. And
the thing is too, it's like not only do they come on the podcast, you have their undivided attention for an hour, or 90 minutes. Like nobody's like on their phone thinking about their next thing that they're doing. And let's say you run into one of these guys. Like I see Oso at Raptors games or Leaf games, and he's like in the middle of something with his partner or with a friend. You're not gonna like, oh yeah, let's chat, let's catch up. It's like no, when you got them on the pod, you have their undivided attention. Yeah. Like it's just so cool. And even like these. One Hope Club, like man, I didn't realize.
New Hope Club.
What did I say? One Hope.
One Hope Club.
One Hope. Man, they're massive.
Yeah,
they're just
cool.
like massive.
They were cool.
We had a good time. Like went out after, had like a really really fun night. And yeah, man, like it's just even now when I shared the thing today, they both like I talked to two of the three of them today. Like yeah, man, like whatever you post, like let us know, we'll share. Blah blah. blah. I was like, hey, sick, man. Thanks,
they're good
guys.
dudes. Those guys are really good guys. What was I going to say? So one thing I did to pivot a little bit, have you been following what happened with the company FTX?
Yeah.
So I know a little bit. I want to dive too much into the craziness and the details of it, because I know at a high level what's happened. But something that was interesting, because like the what I want to talk about is how Cask, when we were trying to fundraise and like raise capital in that last round, and we were kind of like hitting just before the crest of like when this market started to turn. And, we were getting the same thing from everybody saying, we love your idea. We need 6 months, around 3 to 6 months to see what you guys are about. And what's interesting is like, even when we were trying to raise money, even before that, we were riding there was a boom cycle in startups, and they were growing so fast through the pandemic that if you had a hot idea with traction, VCs, a lot of them would kind of, I guess, participate in the round and let these companies give these companies their money in their venture round, whether it was Series A, seed, whatever, because they were to jump in a hot idea and not miss out, to the point that the startups often could say like, oh, we're not going to let you do due diligence. Like if you want in, you want in. You don't, you don't. And a lot of these companies now, what's starting to like when this is all happening, these companies are going bust and they're having down rounds and the market conditions are changing. It's really interesting to hear about these stories of how these big hot startups didn't have proper governance, didn't have proper like audited financials, and like clearly you're seeing the result of that. And these VCs who participated are now left holding the bag, like Sequoia, who's one that I always thought was this like cool mythical company, legendary company. They're one that we had some like surface level conversations with via email and stuff. But like Sequoia invested $260 million in FTX that is now worth nothing, which is crazy. I guess the point of all this is like seeing it now as like, now that we're out of the startup world, that we didn't obviously succeed in raising our capital, but seeing how that wave happened, and it was just like everyone was just raising money, kind of at the startups. What am I trying to say here? At the startups' terms, like they were making essentially like bad, like they were making investments that were essentially gambles. Like you're buying a stock or a company without any research, which is insane to think about.
It's also like the housing market. Same kind of thing. Think about how many people buy houses without home inspection.
You ride the high in the moment because you don't want to be left out of the cycle.
100%.
And I just find it so fascinating that like when we're in this trying to raise money, and I was doing a lot of these calls, I was so nervous to talk to these VCs. I was like, they're so smart. They're so wise. They've done this a million times. And then to see now that a lot of them are just like the average person who invests based on like FOMO or emotion and all these things. I just think that's really cool. So I guess the FTX thing has kind of shed obviously more light on that. But there's amongst other ones. Like I remember, what's it called? Clubhouse was one of the big ones. And that's one we always reference as an example. Like Clubhouse was raised at 100 million, like 3 months later, 4 billion. And then now, when's the last time anyone's ever heard anyone on Clubhouse?
Well, let's talk even Be Real. So Be Real is that next hot app, right? It was number 1 on the App Store for so long. It blew up overnight, especially with like Gen Z. And anytime you hear about an app like that, now I jump in right away. So I'm like, I want to see what all the hype is about. And you got to give it a month. So with Be Real, I said, I'm going to do this for a month. By the end of it, I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to see what people are doing right now. I want to see their highlight reel.
Yeah.
I don't care about what your desk looks like at work. I don't care what shitty sandwich you made. Like, I want to see your highlight reel. I want to know what events you went to. I want to know, what concerts you went to, what sport events you went to. I want to know when you're getting engaged, I want to know the fun parts about people's lives. I don't care about the in the moment thing. Like, because again, even it's not in the moment because everyone tries to like. You see all the memes where it's like, oh, my Be Real will get off. Okay, let's make it look like we're doing something exciting. Let's run to the balcony and take a picture because it's golden hour. Like that, right? So, if I was gonna bet on it, I say Be Real is not gone in the next year or 18 months, but is where Clubhouse is right now. On the decline.
It's so.
But sorry, back to FTX though. He might go to jail. This guy, Sam. He went from golden boy to like fucking.
Well, because they had. So I was listening to the All In podcast because they explained the story and they had what's his name, Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, on, and so I didn't really know this. Like Coinbase is kind of operates like a bank, but they're not. They don't have a bank charter. So a bank is like if I go to RBC and I give $1 and all three of us give $1, they can't take those deposits and reinvest them. They have to have that money in the bank. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. A bank, in theory, could reinvest it, but with a lot of levels of restriction and a lot of parameters they can operate within. Coinbase
is... fun fact? In Florida, all you need is $5 million to open a bank. Fun fact.
Let's get these fucking ad rolls coming in, baby, and let's open a bank. A bank like RBC should have the deposits to match. So if there was a run on the banks, if every client went to more to take the money out, they should have that money. But they can also invest into certain things. I don't know the parameters, so I won't talk about it. Coinbase is not a bank, so they can only be they're like a transaction platform, I think. But they have to have everyone's dollars at par. So if we put in $1, they have to have $3 to give us back. They can't go invest that money. That's a deposit. The money they make, they can take the profits on that and reinvest it. From what I understand, what FTX did is that they were siphoning money out to finance these venture deals, to bankroll the company, to cover losses, all that stuff, which is so crazy to think about. And one of there's a lot of things to unpack here, and I just want to make sure I'm like explaining it coherently and not jumping all over the place. When I was listening to that podcast and hearing how the story played out, the first thought in my head was, this is like Enron. And why I thought that was because I just read the book. What's the Enron book I was reading? It'll come to me. Can you look up the Enron book? It's a story of Enron. It's a massive book. I just finished reading it this summer. Smartest Guys in the Room. No, not Smartest Guys in the Room.
Do Hard Things?
No, Enron's failure. It's about Enron. Anyways, okay.
Continue.
But as they're talking about it, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, this reminds me of Enron. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later, they Friedberg asked Brian Armstrong, do you think this is more like Enron or he compared it to another company? I'm not going to remember now. But he said Enron because what Enron was doing, which is interesting, was Enron's demise was a bunch of things. They were like manipulating markets. They were like pumping up the value of their assets. But there was one guy in that company, Anthony something, who was their CFO, was not an accountant, was somehow the CFO. And he was like working side deals within Enron with his own companies to buy their assets, take it off the books, make it not look like a loss. He recoups it. He's getting paid high fees from Enron. So there was like this like conflict of interest. And when you listen to FTX, it's like the same, it's a similar story. Again, this is at a very basic level, not diving in too much. But this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, was taking money out of FTX to bankroll Alameda Research, whatever the hell it's called, the market maker, which is like, it's crazy to think about, because when you look back again, going back to the thing I said about the startups raising money at their own terms, telling people like you can't do due diligence. This guy was praised like this genius, this wonderkind. He's like 20-something years old. His company's worth tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. And in the end, he was a criminal. He is a criminal. Well, allegedly. But most likely if that goes to court, like they're going to say that this guy, what he did was illegal. It's just, to me, it's so crazy that, like...
It's like, what's the, was it Bernie Madoff.
That's who he compared it to. He compared it to Enron or Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And like, when you think about it, you have this business that does amazing. FTX on its own does amazing. It was one of the leaders in like crypto trading.
Well, again, allegedly.
Allegedly, but it was one of the biggest companies in that space. It's like, why not just do what your bread and butter is that? Just do it.
Yeah.
You were a billionaire. Why are you doing illegal shit?
That's another thing. He was a billionaire, quote unquote, on paper.
Yeah.
But he wasn't very not cash rich. He's very it's all tied up in assets. Basically.
Yeah. Well, I think his net worth went from $16 billion to $3 or something.
Well,
in a span of 48 hours.
Well, why it's like Enron too is the book. What was the fucking book called?
A lot of it's tied to his stock, right? Stock. Oh, sorry. Side note. You see the Miami Arena?
So that's what I was going to bring up next. Enron.
Wild.
Enron. What's it
called? I think
called?
Danny's helping us out so much on this one.
Is it called The Smartest Guys in the Room?
There's they made a couple books. It's literally called that. There's a Netflix movie too.
Conspiracy of Fools. Kurt Aikenwald. That's the one I read. Conspiracy of Fools. Behind the thick corporate walls in the shadows of Wall Street, along the corridors of political power, a scandal is brewing. So that was one of the biggest books I've read, thickness, but it's a crazy story. But another reason why I think it's comparable is because Enron was this darling company in Houston, Texas. Back in the day, they were the company in Houston. Everyone went to work for Enron, this massively fast-growing company.
What industry?
Oil and gas. But they were oil and gas and they were pipelines, and they started to get into power and dams and infrastructure and massive infrastructure projects in India and South America. And these were people that had never done this, and they're just buying things at high cost, paying double, triple what everyone else is paying, marking it up to not take loss, manipulating the books to make it seem like they weren't doing anything. They were not losing money, so their stock kept rising, and then one day it all came crashing down. But when I was reading this book and it talked about, what Minute Maid Park now is, where the Houston Astros play. I don't know if it's still Minute Maid Park, but they play at that ballpark. When the naming rights came up, when Enron was booming in the 90s, late 1998, I think it was, or 99, Enron got the naming rights to that baseball stadium. And then 6 months after the naming rights closed or something like that, they went bankrupt, and they had, it was an embarrassing thing that they renamed the stadium. When I started seeing all these crypto companies name, you have crypto, SoFi, Crypto.com Arena, FTX Arena, or FT, whatever it's called. SoFi is more like fintech. I don't think it's crypto. But when you started seeing this, it's weird. I started to get this feeling in my stomach, this kind of reminds me of 99. When the dot-com boom happened and tech was not just the thing to invest in, they were slapping their names on everything from a marketing perspective and kind of flexing that, we've made it. Now we can name this arena, which is a big deal. It's a lot of money. $200 million for a naming rights. You can put that towards hiring people, towards customer acquisition, whatever.
It's $200 million. It's an insane amount.
And it's not really going to get you that an immense amount of value. It's more pride, right? I would think. So when I started seeing this happen over the last year through this boom cycle of investing in startups, I just started feeling man, there's something how can these companies be printing money like this? They're not profitable yet, and they're doing these things. It seems kind of irresponsible. I'm not saying I predicted FTX was going to go belly up, but even now too, that you're seeing this wave of layoffs. Amazon just had the biggest layoff in their company history. Facebook, all the tech companies, and people are saying there's a recession, incoming recession. But what's interesting is you see jobs reports, and then in other markets, people are hiring. It's in tech that they boomed really fast, and now they're realizing that the good times might be drying up. Now they got to scale back. So ultimately, in this whole scenario, FTX was the first kind of puzzle piece to drop or domino to fall. I wonder if there's more things to come.
Well, no, Luna was before.
Luna was a crash. I guess that's.
Luna's a similar kind of situation. Again, it's in the crypto space. It's tied to an individual. So it's like, it has a lot of similarities. Again, I don't know the story with Luna and how like, basically that story is kind of like he thought he was untouchable and his coin was untouchable. It turns out it fucking wasn't. Someone bet against it and fucking destroyed the coin.
They put in like a they shorted it, but it's a little different though. I think like Luna didn't go name an arena and but
it was like the big fucking thing in crypto. It was the hottest thing in crypto besides Bitcoin for the last year probably.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking more from like a company perspective and like in these companies that grew really fast and were like praised by the media.
Do you have any money in cryptos?
I have a bit, yeah. Same kind of thing. I felt victim to the emotional kind of aspect of it when DB and all you guys were talking about, I have Luna, it's gone up 10,000%. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I personally was never about it. Call me old fashioned, but I was in the camp of like the Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett where they said that it's like stupid, it's useless, it has no value. And everyone called these guys, they called them old geriatrics. Peter Thiel, one of the most like famous guys to come out of Silicon Valley, called Charlie Munger like a geriatric who's trying to stop innovation. Sure enough, the guys who have been around for as long as time were right in the end. And like it turns out a lot of this stuff is starting to come to light that a lot of these things were bullshit and they're fabricated and hyped up by media and investors and whatever. But I guess that's one thing I want to see what comes out in the next kind of few months, because if we are in for a recession, my guess, this is not based on deep knowledge, is that it might be insulated to a lot of these like hot growth tech companies, kind of like what happened in 99. It's like they kind of like the markets.
You think it's just going to be the tech industry that gets hit hard, or you think it'll be?
I think tech will get hit the hardest for sure. I think it's getting hit the hardest.
Because you think like the marijuana industry or like the cannabis industry, that's also another fast growing industry of recent years.
That kind of already had its like the thing though. It was that was more, I would say, a fad. I don't know enough about it, but like I remember when maybe it was 2013, 14, 15 when like marijuana stocks were like, buy Aurora Cannabis, buy this, that, whatever. And they kind of, those boomed and busted, I think, pretty quickly. I don't know the current state of them. But like tech companies, like all these companies that rush to go public, like you can look at them, like Robinhood. Robinhood was a meme company that blew up because something, and it's worth what today? Like one or it lost, I think, maybe 80% of its value. Not only that, Sam Bankman-Fried owns 9% of that company.
Well, I got my ass whooped on. No, actually, no, I never had Robinhood. I had Aurora though. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's I guess why I'm bringing this all up, and apologies to anybody listening if my thoughts are not cohesive and tied together well, but one of the reasons was I've been thinking a lot about Cast lately, like for a multitude of reasons. Some things I don't want to share publicly because like some information we've had come to light recently that's just kind of like annoying, let's say. But I've been like thinking about it a lot, not from the perspective of did we like was the failure, was it not dwelling on it, like being upset about the failure. But, you see a lot of things in hindsight. It's like, did we do this right? Well, we probably could have done this better. And then, everyone was raising money. Why couldn't we raise money? And then you see like, in the end, would it have materialized any differently, or would it have fallen the same fate? Just like really reflecting on like a post-mortem. But I've been doing a lot more lately. And it's just been like a lot of these things that I see that I'm following the tech world still, seeing all this stuff kind of unfold. And, anyways, I don't really know.
The only time I still think about Cass is when I'll have a thought or a question I want to ask. And again, where am I going to ask it? Usually you turn to social media. I would go to Instagram. I don't even ask it anymore. I was like, fuck it. No one's going to answer honestly anyway, so fuck it. I'm not even going to ask. Like, it kind of goes on those things that I was mentioning offline about like, the teacher in Oakville with the prosthetic breast. I wanted to ask a question. Like, do you like...
When you say prosthetic, are they fake or like implants?
No, they're not implants. They're not implants. They're like fake tits that he wears. Correct? They're not fake boobs. They're prosthetic. So, like a prosthetic leg?
Yeah.
Boobs.
He just puts on like a bra and it's like
a massive, filled bra, I guess.
Why? Oh, is he doing it to prove a point?
So I heard that was one rumor that he's doing it to, apparently he's a conservative and he's doing it to prove a point. But then when like a bunch of conservatives came in there to like, a bunch of conservative protesters came to the school, they were like against each other. So I don't really get it. Anyways. But yeah, like there's times where I want to ask questions, and like the fact that we don't have Cass anymore, I feel like it's curbed my curiosity in a lot of senses.
I think we had the right.
Fuck it.
I think we had the right intent. The idea was there, and we had the right intention. I think that
I was just way late.
I don't even know if we were. I don't know. Well, yeah, we were definitely late, because the social media wave happened, like we were late to that, and we couldn't get the network effects as easily as other platforms did, like how all these companies have one time or another piggybacked off the networks of their predecessor to hit scale. But I still think the idea could have been in execution. It's just like I don't know. I think a lot about it. There is one adage that kind of stuck with me. Remember, like not a lot of VCs, but there's a lot of literature on like the people that are best suited to start startups are like technical people. And I always think about that. I'm like, we had the right idea. The app was clearly like we did a great job designing it, building it, having it done, and all that stuff. But the thing is, when you think about it, like we were the founders, but we were not technical founders. So we cared to the nth degree and wanted to see it succeed. But then our team, nothing against them, but like were they as invested in the idea? And when you like, it's hard, right? Because when you start something, if you're not able to like talk the talk and really be the one to like if you're the one building something, if you have an idea but you're not capable of building it, then you're really, even if somebody has equity, they're still like working for you because they really have to be bought into the idea. And I think that was an obstacle of ours that in hindsight, like, you know, having the person lead the technical aspect like really needs to buy into the idea and all that stuff. So anyways, it's I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with my thoughts today, but seeing this stuff now and these big tech companies taking write downs, and there's probably a lot of them that are going to go, I think even more to come, that are going to go bust. Maybe not necessarily the big ones, like FTX was massive, but there's going to be a lot of ones that, you know, are in the 10, 100, $200 million range, which is objectively a big company, but they don't make money, that are going to have a tough time raising, and they're burning too fast, and they're going to go bust. And a lot of these like VC firms, I think, are going to have to write down a lot of their portfolios the way that like public investment people investing in the public space will have to do. And I just like, now it's like, what do the next 12 months look like in North America, in the world, kind of thing, with like the markets, and is there a recession, and are the startups, like, are a lot of startups going to go bust? But then on the flip side, some of the best and most successful startups right now that are now massive growth companies came out of the last recession in 08. Airbnb, I think Uber. Like, Uber's one thing. Anyways, I'm kind of all over the place with this thought.
George, you got a lot of thoughts today, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of
like, fuck, I'm just listening. I'm like, this is a George show today.
Anyways, I'll kind of stop with these ideas because they're not fully formulated. One of the beauties of having this as our podcast is we can talk and it doesn't have to make any sense at all.
And especially when there's no sponsors either. We can literally talk about whatever we want.
I honestly don't even know if my thoughts came across like what I'm trying to intend to say, but...
Want to hear something really funny?
Sure.
At the beginning, when you guys said FTX, I thought you were talking about FedEx. Because a bunch of things just came out in the news today that they're dropping 4,500 employees right before Christmas.
Really?
Or like a large amount of employees. FedEx is cutting drivers. So all their stock went down too. So then we were saying all these different things. I was like, and then I realized.
Well, that's like,
so good stock to buy from.
When you asked me, well, that's a, I don't know if that's Gamber's files. That might just be stupidity, but
like FedEx is FedEx.
Well, hang on, but that's also, see, when you ask me, is the recession like will be limited to like tech? Not necessarily, because there's like follow-on effects, right? Like unintended consequences. Companies that are like, you know, FedEx and UPS, Canada Post, all these people that during the boom of 2021, where everyone thought the world was moving to e-commerce, which I thought was interesting, that so many tech companies thought that that's the new normal now. Like, that is crazy to think that like everyone's just going to shift their habits in a span of 12 months. That doesn't happen. People don't just change that fast en masse. But like when that e-commerce boom happened, Shopify, Amazon, all these companies that are e-com spent a ton of money and capital to build up the infrastructure for their warehousing, for their delivery, all that kind of stuff. And all of them already had shut that down. Amazon shut down a bunch of projects of building, like they were building warehouses, like 1 million square foot warehouses. They shut down like 10 of them in Canada alone, I think. They just either abandoned them or put them on hold. The CEO of Shopify, I'm pretty sure. You can go on Google it right now, look up Amazon warehouses, or Amazon warehouse construction pause or something. You'll see a bunch of yellow dots on a screen. Shopify,
I know they stopped new construction projects, but like
things that were not built yet, that like they were in the pipeline, they've stopped.
Oh yeah.
They haven't just like torn down or like abandoned them.
That's because of steel and wood and all like construction cost.
I think there's a bunch of factors. They were building for scale to handle e-commerce. Go ahead, Danielle.
No, in the first quarter of the year, Amazon reported a $3.84 billion financial loss.
But
they stopped construction in 18 warehouses in 12 different states.
So that's 8 probably
And then
over 18
bringing
million square
over
feet.
like close to 40 closures.
Yeah.
Oh, so well. Okay.
That was Q1. That's think about
This
that's
is
12 months. That's like
2022,
10 months ago.
Yeah.
So it probably even got a little bit worse in the middle. But even Shopify, like I think it's Toby Luke is the CEO. He came out and said that he miscalculated, and their stock took a beating earlier this year because they miscalculated the demand for e-commerce once they started to open up. So, and here's the point of this, like about FedEx and UPS and all these companies, is that like we provide service to some of these companies in their warehouses, and like we saw this massive boom. Like it was, we clean offices and people were leaving the office, but like these logistics and shipping sites were just like going through the roof. We couldn't keep up with demand. They probably couldn't. They were probably worse off than us because they're trying to hire and all that stuff. But then when e-commerce and purchasing and all that stuff slows down, then you have all this infrastructure that you have to like take back. So like FedEx probably was one of the same things. They probably just not overcalculated, but you're trying to keep up with demand. And then when demand slows, you got to get rid of that. So again, to the point of like recession, I don't know if like logistics is gonna have a recession, but they're gonna face the consequences too of like these massive companies laying people off.
It's interesting because you think about probably one of the busiest time for shipping is
Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, Alibaba also just had like one of their biggest days of the year, Singles Day, 11/11. I don't know why they. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
November 11th.
Yeah, November 11th. They call it Singles Day. Is it because
National International Singles Day. I talked about this yesterday.
That's a great. I never realized on 11/11 it's all ones. That's actually very smart. That branding like on point. But they just saying that the demand they think is plateaued there, and they were like they're like the Amazon of thing.
Well, they say Black Friday is the biggest shopping day of the year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sorry,
like
that's in North America. I don't know if Black Friday is a thing.
probably globally. I would imagine.
Well, no, because Thanksgiving's different.
Yeah, but the Black Friday sales are still Black Friday sales globally. So like if someone in London wants to buy something on Amazon on that day, Black Friday is that day.
Oh, is it?
I'm assuming so. Yeah, it's not Black Friday is like a day of the year, not dependent. Like it's not the first day before Thanksgiving.
It's the day after Thanksgiving.
U.S. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But that's the same day globally. It's like the day after U.S. Thanksgiving. It is not like the day after Canada Thanksgiving, the day after London
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
but we didn't have Black Friday sales in Canada until probably like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, maybe. But now that the
wasn't
world
like-
is all online, like it's.
You know, like we have Boxing Day. A lot of places don't have Boxing Day.
I think Black Friday. I would assume. I'm not going to assume.
Danny, why don't you just Google it? Is Black Friday a thing worldwide?
Yeah,
or is it
like-
just a North America thing?
Anybody who's access to Amazon Prime probably gets Black Friday sales worldwide and Cyber Monday too. This will be a big telling, I think, in the next when Black Friday and Cyber Monday happen. Cyber Monday, I think, was invented by Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
It's basically everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like people have just like obviously just joined in because everything can be shipped around the world now.
exactly.
But an article just came out 2 hours ago, and you guys are going to find this interesting. Amazon is set to lay off about 10,000 employees.
Most ever.
Meta, 11,000. Redfin,
Google's cutting back too, like a bunch of companies.
13% staff layoffs. Salesforce,
I heard about Salesforce.
Stripe,
Yeah, all these big tech companies that just hired.
FedEx, and all of them. Yeah, Amazon too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because listen, like the last like 5 years, money was free. Like that people are gonna say, well, how's money free? Money, like to borrow money was like honestly free. Especially that when you're getting money from, if you're a tech company, you're raising money, or a startup, you're raising money easily. If you're a company that wants to finance stuff, you can raise it easily. People are buying your stock, so they're just giving you more investor capital. This next, like I think that like next month, the next 12 months, we'll see if like I think the world is, because if Black Friday and Cyber Monday kind of like they don't break sales record wise, they're gonna see it as like flat or decline. Then investors might say, well, okay, that's weird. Like people aren't spending money. And that might be a bad sign, but again, I'm no economist. Just telling you all some of my crazy ideas today. I think I was pretty good at staying in the realm of like whatever
Business.
It's completely opposite of what we said we were going to talk about today.
Well, we didn't really have
No.
The only thing I wanted to talk about was bad Christmas movies because we watched a shit one last night. That was it.
Did you watch it with Becca?
What movie?
Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan?
She was on earlier. I left. Why am I watching this? Is that new?
Yeah. It's like number one on Netflix too.
She looks healthier. I was like, we
She
saw
actually
her.
looks
She looks amazing.
We saw her in Mykonos and she looked like a
Okay,
twig.
I didn't believe Ricky.
We met her.
Yeah, we met her. We were supposed to be on her show.
Did I not say that exact same thing?
Yeah.
Danny's like, no, you didn't. I was like,
GB2 was like, I'll sign that waiver in a second.
But you weren't on the show.
we didn't end up being
we
on
didn't.
it.
We didn't end up going out because they went to like a bar that we didn't want to
We
go to.
went to Lohan Beach Club. I'd never been there that summer, and there was the three of us. We went there because we're like, we can get a cheaper day bed. We don't want to spend a lot of money that day, so we went, and we had this like circular cabana type bed, a small one. Or drinking, and the one next was empty, and then like camera crew start coming in. What the hell? and they're like, oh, just so you guys know, like they're gonna be filming their show here, whatever. And yeah, they were like next to us, and then they came over about a shot. So they asked if we want to go drink with them. I said sure. So we're having shots. Like, do you guys mind signing like a release because you might be in the show? We're like, all right, cool, whatever. And they were inviting us out after that. Like, we're gonna go back to the villa, have a party, and then go here if you guys want to meet us. But we didn't end up going.
You fucked up.
No, I don't want to be on that show.
Yeah, I don't know. Lindsay Lohan looked good though. I said it to Danny and Maz last night. I was like, she actually looks really good. But the movie sucked. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was also typical.
You fell asleep for the whole thing, though, but you watched it.
But I've already watched it.
You know what's so funny? Someone asked me, he's like, oh, how was your weekend? Like, what'd you do last night? I was like, oh, I watched this like really shitty Christmas movie. She's like, literally said, is it that new Lindsay Lohan one? Don't watch it if you haven't. I was like, you fucking got it.
Is that bad?
It's bad, but it's like a cheesy Christmas movie. It's just gonna get.
There's cheesy Christmas movies and there's bad Christmas movies.
Yeah, but like they're all like. I personally don't love all the Netflix Christmas movies that come out. I love Christmas movies. The Netflix ones, just to me, are the worst things that Netflix produces versus the other shows. Hallmark Christmas movies are cheesy, but you'll watch them. They're cute.
Is that Idris Elba?
The acting wasn't even good. I don't know. The acting wasn't even good on it.
No, Tad.
Oh, you guys want to watch a? It's not even that good. It's like a scary movie, but it's kind of freaky a little bit.
What is it?
It's called Barbarian.
No,
I heard about it.
On Disney Plus. It's with you know the guy who plays it, Skarsgård. Who's the kid? Young Skarsgård. Not Stellan. Stellan's the dad. There's like 3 Skarsgårds. One of them's in Succession. He's in Succession. You know the most recent season. The guy who's the tech guy. Who's in that? Is that Lake Como?
Haven't seen the most recent season.
Okay, so Stellan is the dad, and then there's like. Then you find it? The Skarsgård family? Who played it? Something Skarsgård. Brian Skarsgård or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's a horror movie. And it's like it's a good premise. And I think it could have been way, way scarier. It gets kind of like a little gory and cheesy at the end. But anyways, watch it.
Have you guys watched The Watcher?
Yeah.
I heard it's good.
You haven't seen it? I loved it. I thought it was really good. But a lot of people said they didn't like it. I thought it was really cool. It's a very cool concept. It could have been scary, but it's based on a true story. Bill Skarsgård. He's the youngest?
No.
He played it. Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, okay. So anyways, he's in it.
I feel like Bill's an old person name.
Yeah. Bill is William.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's people who are actually named Bill.
He's your age.
Yeah. He's a good actor. I like him.
Who's your favorite actor?
Who's my favorite actor? That is a very tough question. Favorite, I don't know. Let me think.
Because it also changes from time to time, right? Like there's
my favorite
actors
actor
and actresses
up,
like go on like streaks.
My favorite actor growing up was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Really?
I thought he was the coolest guy. The movie Commando. You ever seen it?
I don't think so.
The movie Commando was my favorite movie growing up. I'll still watch it like religiously. My favorite actor. Oh, I think maybe Denzel Washington.
Denzel was cool.
I think he's so cool. I was watching YouTube Shorts and I was scrolling through and there's a clip of him with his wife, which I've actually never seen his wife. Like I think I knew he was married, but I'd never seen her in any interviews, anything. And they tell a story about how Denzel Washington, on their first date, like 38 years ago or something, they were taking a taxi home from the date or to the date, one or the other, and he was watching the meter go up because he didn't have that much money. He only had like $10, let's call it his name. And he saw it go past. And when they got out, he goes, by the way, do you mind getting this? I don't have enough money. And then he said that was the last time that his wife had to pay because from that point on, he's now worth like $250 million or something like that. Factors. So she said that's the first time she's ever had to pay and the last time I think she's ever had to pay or something like since then or whatever. But who's your favorite actor?
Growing up, it was probably Stallone, Pacino, and De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
Because like some of those
good.
like just classic movies like between Rocky and Godfather, like those movies.
Yeah.
So you fall in love with those guys. Right now, I don't know who it would be. There's no one that really. Like, that actor's in it. I got to see that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of anybody specifically. Danny, who's your favorite actor? Something stupid?
No, I don't know.
Honestly, I just don't care for like. I don't know. I don't care for movies, but I do like some movies. But like, I just like I get so bored of watching movies now. There's
a lot of movies like I would rather watch it for the movie than the actual actor itself, and then it makes me like kind of like and appreciate the actor afterwards.
You know who I don't like? Actually don't say don't like that. I'm not a fan of The Rock.
Okay, you know what's funny? I just looked at this random article, and it says the most popular actresses and actors of all time. Guess who's number one on this list?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No.
Oh,
The Rock.
Betty White.
Betty. Oh, she's nice.
She's been around for like 70 years.
Well,
Oh.
she passed away, but
Oh, did she?
yeah, she did.
Oh.
You know what? You know what female actor I like? Actress. There's two. Are you gonna go ahead? I was gonna say Selma Hayek and Penelope Cruz. I like a lot.
Holy fuck. I was thinking the exact same.
I saw a clip of her talking in an interview
I
the
thought
other
you were
day.
gonna say Sandra Bullock.
No.
I do kind of like Sandra Bullock. Like she's
Penelope
cool.
Cruz and
You were
Salma
about to say
Hayek.
an S, and I just thought you were gonna say that. Like,
No, I really like them. Penelope Cruz I like in the movie like Savages.
Blow?
And Blow, she's good, yeah. Selma Hayek, I don't even know what movie she's in. I just think she's cool. I find, you know what's interesting? Selma Hayek kind of reminds me of your mom with the way she kind of like
Yeah, I
talks
can
and
see
everything.
that.
Yeah.
You know, I named my pet chinchilla after Penelope Cruz.
Penelope? That's so
my
funny.
dad has a Penelope Cruz calendar that he took apart and framed it in our movie room in the basement. It's just 13 Penelope Cruz pictures.
And a big bikinis?
No, like kind of like a Moulin Rouge type outfits.
Okay.
What were you
Yeah.
going to say when I cut you off there?
Nothing.
Oh,
Okay, ready? Favorite movie? Go.
probably Casino.
Casino?
That I can think of at least right now.
My favorite movie is Fired Up, and everyone should go watch it.
Fired Up?
It's a stupid cheerleading movie,
Oh, I think
but
I
it's
know.
actually like my favorite movie. It'll make you laugh.
Okay, wait.
It's great,
Okay,
amazing. It's not a good movie,
Yeah,
but
the
I
actors and actresses
absolutely
above you
love it.
suck.
What about you?
No,
Rick?
watch it.
Mine's Slumdog Millionaire. Easy.
I haven't seen that in so
Oh.
long. I've watched it once, never watched it again.
Do you know what it is for me? It was like it just blew my mind the first time I watched it. How everything connected, all the stories. I thought the actors and actresses were great. I remember my brother telling me it's about Indian Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I'm like, why did this win all these awards? Like how can that be good?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like Regis Philbin, just Indian, right? Like trash ass TV show.
Yeah, yeah.
And then fuck, it was amazing.
I
Actually,
wanna-
on that note, you remember the first guy to ever win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I do not.
You haven't seen the clip?
No.
It's on YouTube Shorts for sure. So the guy, he gets
It's probably, dude, everything is on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
that's a, like,
So it's the last question, and he's like, and he didn't use any of his helplines or lifelines.
Yeah.
So he goes, Regis, I'd like to phone a friend. So he phones a friend, and I guess it's his wife or his dad or something. He goes, yeah, I don't really need your help. I just want to let you know I'm about to be a millionaire. Something like that. Fucking
on.
heavy duty.
I want to go back to the point about The Rock. You know why I'm not crazy about The Rock? Number one is
Wait,
'cause
let me guess.
Okay.
Because he's not a good actor.
I don't know if it's like I'd never really pay attention to like rate his acting skills. His movies are just like obviously like just they're like they're not even like they're just so over the top. Like back in the day when Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone were like action stars, it still seemed kind of realistic. Like, let's use Commando, for example. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a former Army Ranger living in the mountains peacefully. His daughter gets kidnapped by his ex-partner who wants to, get back at him. And he's got to basically go strap up and he robs like an ammo depot and goes and kills everyone to get his daughter. Like, that could happen. Could that not happen? If somebody
it could.
think
Yeah,
about
okay.
like, okay,
Agreed.
Think about like the I don't know him well, but like someone like Jocko Willink, whoever the guy is, the Army Ranger guy. Imagine he had a daughter, someone kid, like you could see someone losing it and trying to get their daughter back.
That's fair.
The Rock is jumping out of skyscrapers with one leg on, and like saving his family while the cities implode. All these things, like it's so
What movie's that?
skyscraper.
Oh, never seen that one.
It's so over the top. He's like a security guard, and like, I mean, if you think about any one of his movies, go to the Fast and the Furious. Now, I think they kind of do it on purpose. Like it's gotten so to
For
the
the
point.
last Fast and Furious, they went to space.
Right. I think it's gotten so
car.
exaggerated that it's almost like comical and people like lean into it. But so his movies are so over the top, like they're just ridiculous. But not only that, like when I watch him in interviews when you see him in interviews off screen but talking, he doesn't come across as genuine. He actually comes across very like it seems fake. You can just listen to how he laughs, or when you see him doing his like, those meals that he eats and he's talking about it and like laughs in the background, it comes across really, really disingenuous. I don't know why, it always bugs me. And I realized it also recently when he laughs, why it comes across, I suspect is fake, because there was an interview that I coincidentally came across on my YouTube shorts with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart said something that I think he didn't expect, and he genuinely laughed. It seemed like he was laughing, and I thought to myself, oh, this is not how he laughs when he's doing his talking head stuff or trying to hype something up. That's my TED Talk on The Rock, and I'm not a big fan.
You know what's funny? Even just like typing in, like I just typed in, is The Rock nice? Like what people think about The Rock, and everyone says, like almost all these articles says, a big reason why he's such a well-liked character comes down to his charisma and authenticity.
Really?
I love The Rock. I'm just throwing that out there. Rock, love you, Dwayne, buddy, pal.
Nothing.
I basically met him with 20,000 other people at the Leaf game.
You did not meet him.
We're in the same place at the same time.
Anyways, that's my thoughts.
And there's an article that says Dwayne Johnson reveals he was becoming a jerk and had to make the decision to become a nice guy again.
When would that come out?
September 15, 2022.
That's fair because I have not been on social media since September, so my recollection of him was pre-September. There you go. My assumption was pretty accurate. He said it himself. See The Rock? Look, hey, Mr. Rock, if you want to come and talk about it on this podcast, I will happily hear you out. My feelings was based on pre-September 1st because when I got back, I pretty much got rid of my social media. And I guess I was correct in that assumption and that he was not a nice guy, not genuine. What do you know? I'm pretty good at reading people. What can I say? You know?
Yeah.
I just have a question. What's a movie, like, it doesn't have to be your favorite movie, but what's a movie you could put on and watch like over and over again? Like if you had to watch it a couple times
The
around.
Office. That's it.
I was going to say The Office.
That's a TV show. I'm asking about a movie.
Probably Dumb and Dumber is one.
I can't do that either.
I put on Endgame and Infinity War the other day, and I watched both of them back to back. And I forgot that I like how much I really enjoyed Marvel movies, like
But I feel like you also don't really watch movies because you're always like either reading or you're like on
no,
your
I
phone
work.
or something.
I take my laptop outside on my couch and work.
That's what I mean. So you're not actually watching. You're just kind
Marvel
of
Endgame. I did watch. I was watching them again.
If you had to put something on the background or like while you're doing stuff.
Star Wars, I like
Just nonstop. Like
Yeah,
let's say
Star
like every
Wars.
single week it was the same thing that
I
played.
could watch like the same one movie. I mean, I can watch the whole Star Wars series from start to finish
Sure.
over and over.
Yeah.
I think The Departed, Casino, those kind of movies are
I was
pretty
gonna say
good.
like any of the Ocean's movie for me.
Oh,
I could-
you know what,
'cause,
Danny?
like,
That's a good one.
I absolutely love those movies, and it doesn't matter which one. If someone was like, "Hey, let's put this on," and we didn't know what to watch, 100% I'd say yes. Even if
You
I
know
watched
what,
it.
yeah.
Oceans
2
are
weeks ago.
that's a very good
That's
point.
a fucking great hot take.
That's a great point. You can actually watch those movies nonstop.
nonstop, and they're all good.
Because there's like an actual storyline. The acting is good. It's got cheeky comedy.
They're all
What did I
hot.
watch? What did I watch recently? With
I
Brad
watched
Pitt?
Ocean's 11 recently.
I've
No, which
wa-
one's the one in Vegas? They're all in Vegas, right?
No, one of them's
So Ocean's 13's with the women.
Hold on. What did
no 12.
12?
Ocean's 8 is with the woman.
Is there a 9 and 10?
Yeah,
Ocean
11, 12,
11's the
13.
Eight's the women.
Yeah, 8's the woman. It goes 11, 12, 13, 8.
8. Yeah.
Okay.
What's a recent movie with Brad Pitt? I watched one
Once Upon a Time in California.
No, the
Or in
other
LA.
day I watched and I can't even remember it now. It was a pretty recent movie. Also, you know what? I actually take back what I said. My favorite actor. I think Brad Pitt's my favorite actor. I think he's so cool. I actually, I've heard stories about him. Actually, someone told me one recently when they met him during TIFF. It was. I can't share the actual story, but it was not at TIFF. It was like during his arrival, and he told me a story about him, and he just like, I'm like, that's someone that seems really cool. That's someone that seems like you can just like sit at a bar with and have a drink, and he would be cool.
That's fair.
Did you watch Bullet Train?
No,
The Lost City?
Lost City's funny with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum.
I
That's
didn't watch
funny.
it. I heard it's funny. It's on every single flight if you're traveling right now in Air Canada. But I still haven't watched it.
I watched it. I think that's
like
where
The
I
Lost
watched
City.
it. What's another one? Brad Pitt. Keep going.
Ad Astra.
No, I heard that was bad.
Once Upon a Time. The Big Short.
The Big Short. No,
Oh, that's old though.
sorry. Yeah, I watched Big Short yesterday. That movie is probably one that I could
Okay,
watch.
amazing actors in it.
Have you not seen Big Short, Danny?
No.
Becca didn't either. It's so good.
I feel like I'm not
You
gonna
know
say
what? That's interesting. That kind of brings it all back to the beginning of this conversation. The Big Short is about people being.
the recession.
Oh no! You know what?
Wait, what's the worst
The example. Sorry, this just reminded me. The thing I said that about All In that they compared Enron, FTX to Enron. It wasn't Bernie Madoff. It was to Solomon Brothers, I think, which is the bank. Not that that matters, but anyways, The Big Short's a great movie. I actually the book that's based on is actually my favorite author, Michael Lewis. That's the book I recommended to you, Undoing Project.
Yeah.
So Michael Lewis is probably my favorite like author because he writes kind of like not biographies. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like bio, whatever.
Historic.
Yeah,
events or
whatever counts events. I remember reading that book when I was actually, I think I was in Greece and I got it and I read it. It was like, blew my mind. Then when The Big Short came out, I thought it was such a it was shot so cool. Like it feels very.
The book or the movie?
The movie shot very, very well. I think it's so cool. Like this, you know, how they loop in, you know, what's her name? The girl, Margot Robbie, like explaining what this is in a bathtub. And like, then you have Richard Thaler and Selena Gomez explaining what a synthetic CDO is and stuff like that. And it was a really, really good one.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
But also, Brad Pitt's done so many good movies too.
Brad Pitt is on. I think he's so cool.
Do you know what I was actually going to say? And I stopped myself, but I'm going to say it anyways. I feel like a lot of this might be a general assumption, but I feel like a lot of the women in my life haven't seen a lot of amazing movies. Like Goodfellas and Godfather are two of my favorite movies, and a lot of women in my life have never seen those movies. Have you seen them, Danny?
I have.
Both
but
of
not
them?
a long time. Yes.
I didn't see Goodfellas until like a year ago.
Goodfellas is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really good.
Again, if you haven't, mind you, maybe it's just because they're like mafia movies. Maybe a lot of women in my life don't care about mafia movies. But mafia movies and war movies are like two of my favorite genres.
Joe Pesci is that in Casino, man. Joe Pesci is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like old school. But even like you go to The Godfather, like Pacino, just phenomenal. Even De Niro in number 2.
I don't think
that's number 2. And it's like arguably my favorite movie.
I don't think I've watched the Godfather series like start to finish. Really? I don't even think I remember any of them, to be honest.
I used to watch those when I was younger with my nana.
Oh,
are they really good?
Yeah.
Like just number
Like,
three.
actually
Number
good
3 is
movies.
whatever. Like number 3, like you can go without doing. It's not the end of the world. Number 1 and 2 are just start to finish. You need like they're 3-hour long movies though, right? Everything about them is amazing.
Really?
There's nothing I would change. Even they mix in enough Italian that it feels like an Italian movie, but you don't feel lost if you're not Italian. Like, it's just the story, how they explain everything, like the little ins and outs. Phenomenal movie, start to finish. Again, it's a similar to Goodfellas, just top-notch movie.
That might be my favorite genre, like mobster movies.
Oh, War and Mobster.
War and Mobster, yeah. Black Hawk Down's another classic.
Saving
Classic.
Private Ryan.
That one I've seen it, but I don't remember it very well.
Oh, you know which one I really love that was recent? Was it 1917?
Yeah,
The one where they shot it in like 5 scenes?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
IMAX
We were talking
whatever.
about
So
this.
the way it's shot is it's shot over I think 5 or 6 scenes. Danny, Google it, and it's just like long takes.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
So I don't know what
You
it's
have that means you have to choreograph everything perfectly almost.
Everything.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like
to do
some
that.
takes are like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Oh
Yeah.
no, more. I guess they're like 20 minutes long. I remember at one point I'm watching. I'm like, how are they filming this? Because it's like the cameras like they're walking through a trench. And I'm like, hey, the camera needs to be mounted to something because it's not moving.
It's
so
on.
It's up top, right? Like I just don't know.
No, it's no. What do you mean? If it's at sight line, it's on a gimbal basically, like a gimbal you would wear. So you ever see? I'm trying to think of an example. An extreme sports video, like someone snowboarding. Well, the person following the snowboarder is probably on skis, and they would have a camera like similar to what I have, let's say, but it would be on a gimbal. And what a gimbal is basically you could like. If it's bumpy, it's weighted almost. I don't know the science behind it, but it stays still.
Yeah.
So if you move up and down, it still feels flat and level. So if you have, I think it's called a Ronin. If you're like in a trench and you're following somebody, he's probably wearing the pack on him.
And he's walking
backwards.
Or maybe he's walking forwards.
Because often what happens to get that still shot is like, to my knowledge, would be like a track. So there'd be someone on a cart pulling backwards, but you would see the track and they'd walk on it. So he's there. Probably guess that.
What I thought was maybe because you have a trench, so they have it's like
a boom.
Basically, there's a wheel on each side, and the camera drops down from the middle, and it obviously is like
It probably could happen.
It could be that. That's what I thought. But at one point, then they go up the stairs,
and the guy follows him up steps.
stairs.
He's probably wearing a gimbal on him.
But then it's like it's a person, like the person walking. You're probably walking forwards, and the gimbals are behind you on your back.
No, I think you're probably walking backwards because you'd want to
And then
see
you have
it in
two
the
people.
shot. Yeah.
That's what it's just crazy.
Because
man.
also,
you know how many scenes it is?
Can you look up 1917 and see how the walking scenes were shot? You can probably look that up.
It's actually.
I gotta watch a good movie tonight.
It's basically, it says, I can tell you the camera they used.
No,
the
I don't remember the
lens.
camera. Tell us how it was shot. And Danny, we need to move you so I can make eye contact with you. I don't like this.
1917. Oh no.
No, it went from like they switched the camera
Rick.
at one point from like it's not actually done in one shot, but
No,
they
it's-
made it the illusion to make it done in one shot. It's using single shot, like
Are Are you sure?
Yes, I'm reading right now.
It appears as one long shot, but it's stitched together in a few. But
no, but I think it's like 5 long shots.
Yeah, you might be right.
I know the whole movie's not one.
Okay,
take.
here sometimes. Okay.
They would switch it from like the shoulder to different areas.
Yeah, look here. The lightweight camera was often used on one of ARRI's advanced stabilizers that allowed the operator to track, boom, and move in all the rehearsed camera directions. Sometimes the 1917 cinematography team had to transfer the camera from a shoulder rig and hook it to a wire rig in one shot. The portability of the camera was key to achieving the one-take look. All these pieces of equipment were necessary for Deakins and Mendes to capture the film's scenes and one continuous take. While equipment was being locked in, Mendes and the film's acting leads had to focus on rigorous rehearsals to pulling off the one shot. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Took 4 months of rehearsals.
Well, think about imagine a Super Bowl performance. That's what, 10 minutes, and they practice for like a month.
They did this. The rehearsal was 4 months for this.
That's what literally George just said.
Oh, I didn't hear.
But thanks for paying. I
was reading.
You know what? Maybe I'll watch that
That's what
tonight.
you watch tonight, George. Get a nice bowl of popcorn, Smart Pop, and that's what you watch tonight. And while Danny watches, Fired Up 2.
I think I gotta find a good movie tonight.
Studying for exams tonight.
Do you guys watch Yellowstone?
Yeah.
No, but my mom was obsessed yesterday, and she didn't talk to anyone and didn't do anything because she was so obsessed.
Why?
She did because she was obsessed because she saw it and didn't want to, or didn't want to talk to anybody to give spoilers.
Because she wanted to watch it herself and bask in it. She wore her Yellowstone T-shirt.
Get outta
She
here.
got
Your
so
mom's a
excited.
legend.
She loves it.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday on Paramount Plus. You have to buy through it. It's a subscription through Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's not on Prime anymore?
No.
Well,
Wow.
No,
Because I think Prime. This is definitely an assumption. You should look this up. Paramount Plus is newer, and it was created obviously by Paramount. But I believe that because they didn't have it before, their content was distributed across other platforms. But I think Prime was one of them. And now that they have their own streaming platform, you can either subscribe there directly or subscribe under your Prime membership.
Well, because Paramount Prime's also really big in the States.
Paramount Prime?
Paramount Plus, whatever.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know that. I know Warren Buffett invested in it, I believe. So you know it's good.
I believe.
So you know it's good. Yellowstone. So it starts kind of when I remember when I first got into it. It started a little bit slow for me, and then once it gets going, I feel like Rick, you would love it.
I watched Yellowstone.
Oh, you've seen it?
I haven't seen the new season.
Oh, okay. So you've seen it all.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think it's one of the best shows. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I watched it. I don't watch many shows, but the ones I do, that's why I like. For me to watch a show now and actually get hooked, like I tried the Jeffrey Dahmer one, didn't get hooked.
Yeah, same.
I'll give you have 3 episodes to get me hooked, or everybody needs to be talking about. Like even Dahmer, everybody was talking about that show, so I did 3 episodes. I liked it. A day or 2 later, still hadn't watched it. Boom, I'm done.
That's the one thing I want to get better with because I get bored of stuff so easily, and unless I'm captivated, I just can't pay attention to it. Problem is, like after this, I'm gonna go home. Becca and I are gonna have dinner, and we're gonna put something on, try to get into it, and then it's gonna be either it'll be amazing, which is hard because there's just everything out. You've basically seen most of the good stuff that people talk about, but then you put something on that's new, and you're like, okay, let's get into this. It's gonna be good, and it's not good, and you just waste time sitting there watching this pardon my language, the show. And I just find after that, I'm like, why did I do that? I could have sat there and did more work, read,
I don't know. My problem is I don't have like consistent people to watch movies or TV shows with. So like my mom and dad are the only people like I actually consistently watch movies with. The problem is I'm never home, and then they're never like my mom's in Florida like a third of the year. Then sometimes you need to get all 3 of us, but then I don't go to their house for a week straight, and they're sitting at home and they want to watch it because it's a new show. And then I won't watch alone. And then they're 2 episodes ahead of me, and they don't want to rewatch. And then boom, it's gone. Mm-hmm. And then I start a show here, and then I'm not here for another.
I was just gonna say, bringing it all back. You don't sit here by yourself, so you wouldn't watch a show here anyways.
I'm by myself. Waking hours. I'm in this condo. Like I'm talking like not getting ready, not showering. I'm here maybe 7 hours a week, max.
That's like the studio. This place is a waste of money too. Let's get rid of this place.
No, because I sleep here.
I'm kidding.
I pre-drink here. I date here.
Basically the same as the studio.
If bring a bed to the studio, it'll be a lot cheaper.
If the studio had a bed, it'd be the exact same.
And a shower, I could just live there.
Oh, I just need a shower at the gym.
You honestly don't need a kitchen. It would have been perfect.
No, I still need a kitchen. No, I really don't.
I really liked having this. The studio was a cool studio.
We gotta drop it in the meantime.
It is what it is. We've come to a realization.
I did have one. Damn, I had one last thing I wanted to ask. It just came to my head too, and now I forget. We're talking about Yellowstone.
Studio, not being home.
No.
Not watching TV shows. Watching TV shows with people.
Oh. Would you two ever? This is a question for both of you, individually or together. Would you ever be interested in climbing a mountain?
We talked about this last episode.
I know, but like, did we talk about it? I'm trying to remember, but Becca and I
Yeah.
talked about it after we left, and we said it'd be really fun for the four of us to climb a mountain.
100%.
I won't do it in the next couple of years. It's just like out of all the vacation days I'm going to take, is that really what I want to waste my
To be
vacation
honest,
days on?
my next 2 years are strictly vacations for basically weddings. So
For basically what?
weddings.
Weddings?
Wait, how many
that
weddings
are
do you
not
have
here.
away?
I have one next year, one the year after.
So you want to taking 2 vacations in the next 2 years?
No, but like if I'm going to Europe, I'm going for an extended period amount of time, and then my other vacation days are going to be spent for like weekend things.
Okay, that's fair.
Like how many? I don't have 5-week vacation.
I mean,
Come work at
you
Impact.
get Fridays off.
Okay, hire me.
You get
Kidding, I love my company. Lisa, Fab, I love you guys. I'm never leaving. No, but I get 14 days.
Plus, you don't work Fridays.
I do.
You do
In
work
January.
Fridays.
Right now, it's just because of school.
Oh,
As soon as January hits, I'm 5 days.
I didn't know that.
I physically have chosen to not get paid on Fridays right now because I need time for school.
Oh,
Good for you.
Well,
didn't know
it's
that.
not good. It absolutely sucks. I'm not getting paid. But again, I need time. I want to pass. That's why.
you know, Danny just hung over every Friday.
That's a lie.
I'm kidding. Gosh, I'm over exaggerating like you do.
You've been like a huge over exaggerator. Maybe I need a break from you.
Ricky always exaggerates.
I think I need a break.
I told Becca about this the other day. Like Ricky with his all caps typing with ginormous, which is a word, sure.
Really?
But
I think he's the worst texter in the world, and it actually gives me anxiety sometimes.
nah, Ricky's
Like some
funny.
days he's
Ricky-
like okay, normal and funny over text. The other day it's like, yes, okay, cool.
oh, that's how I type.
Some
too,
days
though.
I'm just busy. Some days I'm like,
You're
I'm
not.
You know what-
though.
you know what
'Cause then
my
you'll
least
like call
favorite
me
thing-
5 seconds later and be like, "Hello, babes," and like you'll be all like funny and
Because
happy.
I'm
But over
done
text,
doing
you're
what
like,
You know what?
to do.
You know what? With Ricky, the hardest thing to interpret is like what mood he's in sometimes. Because the thing that I hate, he does. He goes, "Yep, yep." I hate that. 'Cause I'm
Oh.
like, is he mad? Like,
I
oh,
literally
guys,
just said that last week.
'Cause he's
I
like,
said,
he-
"Can you not say that anymore?"
Can you say like cool or like yeah, sure?
Anything.
Yup sounds like KK, and I
Yeah.
hate that more than anything.
guys, I'm always in the best mood ever. Just imagine me being in the best mood at all times.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Or like
Hold
when I say
on.
something funny and all you say is LMAO and no caps. I'm like, oh, is it? Like I thought it was
Not
funny.
not true. You're not always in the best mood. Like you have days. Last week you were mad about something at work. You know you have moods.
that's
You
true.
came here. You came to the studio just now. Like I'm so annoyed that I'm here.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm still like overall.
I
I'm in a
know
great
you're an
mood, though.
overall happy person. That's not
I'm
what
a
I'm saying.
very happy person.
Even when you're mad, you still find a way to be happy. But like it's just like you know when you say it,
when I'm
like,
in a
I'm like,
mood,
oh,
I'll
is
tell you.
Ricky
You
annoyed?
guys will know I'm in a mood. You guys will.
I don't
know.
have to tell anyone I'm in a mood. You guys know I'm in a mood.
Hey, George is easy. George fucking.
I'm in a mood most
80% of the time.
most. You can most people have to ask me, "Hey, are you in a good mood?" I'm actually very, very optimistic, and I know not yeah, pretty generally optimistic and pretty happy as a person. But it's like an extreme. I'm like very happy, or I'm like just very annoyed.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
You know what? I was actually saying this the other day to my my aunt. This year, like, is not even arguably. This year is hands down the best year of my life, and it started off on possibly one of the worst things of my life. You know what I mean? Like shutting down Cast is like top 5 worst things of my life, and that's how we
Really?
basically started the year. And this is no questions asked the best year of my life.
That's one of the top 5 worst things in your life.
Oh yeah, easy.
Really?
Are you kidding? You put that much sweat, blood, well, not blood, sweat and tears and money into something. Have you ever lost that amount of money in anything? Just the money part alone makes it one of the worst things in my life. Not to mention that we put our lives on hold to do this. Like we traveled through the States eating fucking dollar dinners, sleeping on a fucking mattress that isn't even as thick as this couch cushion.
I think it's
Like
one
not
of the best.
sleeping.
See, you think it's one of the worst? I think it's one of the best.
Shutting
things.
it down was one of the worst things to me.
Yeah, but even shutting it down,
doing
like,
it was amazing. I loved it. Shutting it down is just like, hey, now it's officially done. It's over. It's like a breakup.
What?
Well, you still got your chicken cutlets on?
I actually don't. Yeah, I don't know if it was one of the worst things that happened to me.
Shutting it down?
No.
Easy one. Of
I
those
mean,
things. Top 5.
No, I think I don't know.
If you lost X amount of dollars in an investment, would you not think that was one of the worst things? If you lost what we lost in Amazon, let's say you invested in Amazon.
No,
you lost
because
that
I
amount of
think
money.
there's other things that I would like. And I'm not someone who places blame on anybody or makes excuses for any decision. Like every decision that I make in life, for the most part, even when I'm not in control of all variables, I still take ownership for my own decisions. Cast especially was like one of the ideas that, like, not saying it's my idea per se, but like it started with an idea I had and it got everyone fired up and got everyone on board. I'm not going to blame anybody but myself, especially because I'm CEO. Like, I'm not going to blame anybody except myself for the quote unquote failure of it. But I actually think shutting it down was one of the best decisions we made, because I think at that point,
not decision, like moments, like you think
it was one of my hardest moments, but not one of my worst moments.
You lost a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot.
So
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't think that's one of the shittiest things that ever happened?
No. Has my life been materially changed by that, losing that money?
I don't know. You could have bought the home you're thinking about.
Could have. But if I work hard enough, I'll probably get that home still. Hopefully.
Yeah, 100%.
I still have a roof over my head. I still have the clothes
100%.
on my back. I still have my family, my friends. I've learned
Still
and grown.
a lot of money though.
It is. But that's what I'm saying though. Like, that's, I don't want it to come across like, oh, I have money to burn, because like it obviously put a massive dent in like my liquid, in my cash I could have invested elsewhere. But the same time is though, it's easy to see that in hindsight. What if I had put that into, what if I invested that into Meta or Twilio or these other companies that I really liked at the time that also lost 80%? Yeah, I wouldn't have lost 100%. But on the other side, if it was in my TFSA, my RSP, whatever, I took that loss, I can't claim the losses. So now I can also claim the losses.
So then there's also the time and energy and effort, right? Imagine if you spent that time and effort at Impact. I
don't think it would have been the same. I think
it's a little different, obviously.
But that's why I'm weighing everything, because like, I can tell you, I've had conversations with people that I work with, people that I work for, people that have worked with me in the past, and they've said to me, they said, oh, I can see a change in you. You seem more energized here than ever before. And I feel like I am, because I also, what I took away from Cast is I think that I realized that I can do anything you put your mind to. I mean, obviously that Cast amongst other things, I realize I truly believe that if I want to do something, I can do it. I mean, I can't swim across the world, but also if I believe that I can, maybe I can. But I think that, to your point about I could have put the time into Impact, I don't think it would have been the same quality of work. I think leaving and learning a very hard lesson is invaluable. Sure, there's try cheaper ways to learn that lesson. I could have gone and quit and worked for someone else. But then again, if I'm working for somebody else, it would have been trying to climb the corporate world and working in a different way and trying to work, to get somewhere. But it still wouldn't have been something that we tried to create, but that I had input into, that I put sweat equity into, that I had to struggle to try and get off the ground. So yeah, I don't think it's one of the, again, everyone, you're entitled to your perspective. I don't think it's one of the worst things that ever happened to me. There's other things that are worse, that if I look back, there's not many things I would change in my life, but if I look back, there's things that I don't like, that either what I did, most things that I would change are things that I did in my past.
Okay, so what are top 3 worst things in your life?
But see, like some things I don't like. Not that they're really bad. They're just more like personal things that like I didn't steal from my grandmother or anything like that. That would be like frowned upon. But they're things that are, like maybe sensitive-ish a little bit. That and the other thing too is that they're also. I'll use an easy one. I think looking back, one of the worst things too was kind of like just the way I maybe handled leaving Impact to go and do Cast. I'm very fortunate that I have an amazing family, and especially my siblings, that I've always, for the most part, like they'll put their neck out for me. They'll take I would think take a bullet for me, but maybe I kind of thought that was easy. I'm like, you know what, I can just leave quickly and go do Cast and come back. But then I left all this shit on them. So when I look back, like, yeah,
not even your siblings, mostly on Yanni.
Yeah, Yanni.
Georgia, us most of the time.
That's another thing. One of the worst decision. Like Georgia gave up her, mat leave to help us grow Cast because we needed that role filled. We couldn't afford to do it. So my sister's like, she always says, I can never say no to you. Which is, at the same time, I say, well, listen, if you can't, like, you can tell me. But then she tried to quit numerous times, and I'm like, hey, they try to sell her on it. But that's me doing my job as a CEO, not as her brother. But then you look back, it's like, okay, well, this is all for naught. And now what did she gain out of it? Like, so was that, like, shutting the company down relative to that for me is like, I should make a call to not burn all the funds we had and pay back people that invested and trusted in us. And I thought that was the right decision to do. But I can never go give her back the time that I took from her that she didn't get paid and all those things. So to me, I haven't thought about this, which one is worse. But to me, when I look back, like, oh, would I have done that differently? Maybe. I would not have done different than shutting down of Cast. That decision was a hard decision, but it was actually one of the ones that I had the most conviction on at the time. I didn't waver in that. I thought that this is like, we're on a sinking ship, unfortunately. The hindsight now gives me more conviction that it was right, but that's not in the moment why I made that decision. But But yeah, I don't know if it was the worst. Again, the money, like, yeah, not to sound like I have infinite money and it doesn't matter. It does matter, because then again, I could be buying a house right now or something. But my life, I have my health, I have my family, friends, I have food on my plate.
So again, what's like? I guess you don't want to say it on the pod. We'll talk after. Like I look at moments in my life that sucked, and it's, for me, it wasn't so much about the money. It was just that I was 100% convinced it was going to work. I'd done everything that I thought I could have done to make it work. And then financially, it did not work. So to me, like, I look at that as, from a financial perspective, an L. Again, what the lessons we learned and like how much we grew and the risk we took and doing things that's that majority of people won't do. And like, we fucking traveled the States on an RV. Like, the story is just wild. But I look at it as financially as an L. Like, if I look back at most things I've done in my life, if I really put my mind to it and I really tried to do it, I didn't fail. Like, I look at, okay, I played hockey, but like, I didn't really fucking try that hard. Like, Friday night games, I didn't care to go to because I'd rather be talking to girls or like with my buddies. Like, did I really try that hard in practice? No, I was fucking around half the time. So again, I didn't make it in hockey, but I didn't really fucking try. Swimming, or I don't know, a lot of the other things I did, I didn't fully commit and like try my hardest. And like with Cass, I'm like, fuck, I tried fucking really hard and I just fucking not sucked, but you didn't come out with the outcome you were expecting.
Yeah.
So that's why I look at it as an L. And like in recent years, like outside of battling depression, but again, I overcame that. So I technically won. I guess not win or lose, but whatever. Aside from shutting down Cast, I think battling depression is probably like the worst thing that ever happened to me. And outside of that, like, fuck, again, like you said, we're very fortunate. We have health. Like, nobody really close to me has ever died other than like a friend 15 years ago. Like, knock on wood, most of the people in my life who have passed, that like they lived good lives. So it's a tough one.
But see, that's a thing that how you're kind of compartmentalizing. You're saying Cast was an L, but hockey wasn't an L, and the depression wasn't an L. But the thing is, if you actually look at it, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. The hockey, the depression, the personal life, all that's like one line. Like, you don't just say, because that happened in your personal life, right? Like, that's personal, if you will. Your personal life keeps going. It's like today is still part of your personal life. Cast, are you putting it like a box at just Cast? Because to me, Cast is
career.
Yeah.
Career.
So you don't think you've gotten better at other parts of your career because of taking that risk?
I do believe that. But again, financially speaking, it's a major L. If I would have taken that extra effort and time and put it into metric or fucking even content for that, I'd be noticeably ahead financially.
You're just talking from a financial standpoint, not as an overall thought of it. Whereas, like, I think George is going about saying more as like the overall lessons
and that money,
all like the positive stuff that had come out of Cast, even if it didn't succeed. That should have, like, you're not considering that a win. You're considering that a loss too.
Sorry, say that again.
Like, you're just talking financially right now.
That's why it's
George is looking at the bigger picture.
The bigger picture, of course.
Right?
Like,
like, am I like understanding that right? Like, I'm just like trying to like understand what you guys are saying.
Because like, to me, like, losing you lost money, so technically it's a loss. But then you can say the time is a loss. The time was not a loss to me. The time is actually a gain. Like, I learned more in that short window of time than I have in my whole career, I think. So what I'm saying is, like, okay, yeah, if you're going technical, but then again, if you didn't invest that money, we probably don't have that off the ground because, again, we're not technical founders. That idea wouldn't have got off the ground. We probably could have spent less getting it prototyped, for sure. We also wouldn't have the control. We wouldn't have had the same, I think, level of like day in and day out. Felt like this was part of our team. So we didn't necessarily have to spend our money. We could have gone and raised money, but we also realized it was tough to raise money. And I also think that putting our skin in the game, this is another thing that just on that same vein of like this whole other culture of startups and raising fast money and crash and burn and, you know, fail fast, all that. I also think it's kind of not stupid, but I don't necessarily always agree with it. Not everyone's in a position to put their money where their mouth is, but I do think being able to, like, having the confidence in yourself to do that carries way more weight than anything else. Sure, you can be the smartest guy in the room and have an idea and go take someone else's money to build it. But even if you can afford to put $1,000 of your own money in to get an idea off the ground, I think that carries more weight than being super smart and getting someone else to trust you with their money, because you're gambling with free money. There's really no consequence. As long as you don't do anything illegal, there's no consequence to your action. Our actions had consequence. And sure, it might have been a fool's errand and not, we could have done it differently to be more calculated and really prototyped it and tested it. Kind of like what Lee talked about, like just like getting it to market fast, finding out if it works, and if it doesn't, burn it and move on to the next thing. We went all in pretty early on. But all the things that came out of that, all the wins, all the good times, all the memories, all the learnings, I don't think happened without that money in, because we put the biggest chunk of money. The three of us put more money than our investors did. So yeah, that's an L, but we don't get off the ground without that. We have nothing without that. I don't think, I actually don't even think I don't think as many people would have trusted us with their money had our money not been at stake as well.
That's fair.
And I guess all in all though, like, I think I can pinpoint a couple reasons as to why I think it failed. Again, I'm not blaming anyone, but I think when I look back, and I've actually looked back a lot more recently than I have even when it first ended, and I think I kind of have it down. To
you really look back. Since we've shut down, I haven't looked back at all. I haven't the last couple months. I'm cruising here.
No, but the same time is
cloud nine.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I think the only way you get better at anything is by learning from your mistakes and other people's mistakes and taking those things and get better at that. It's what we do. Like, it's, at Impact, I didn't have to fail on some things at a small scale, but I'm looking back saying, how did these big companies mess up? How did other companies fail? What can we learn? How did Impact do poorly at this thing? What can we learn from that? I'm not going to get the saying right. I'm not even going to try, but there's something about you have to look forward, but keep one eye on history. Otherwise you forget history. And if you're only looking forward, you run a big risk of making the same mistakes that could have been avoided, that were easily could have been avoided. I'd venture to guess, to kind of bring this full circle, that's like someone like Sequoia and all these other companies that invested in FTX probably took their eye a little bit off the past and could have looked at a company like an Enron or these other companies that were fraudulent and didn't allow for due diligence, didn't have audited books, had their accountants manipulating the numbers, and probably would have said, this kind of smells like this. I should probably be more cautious here. But people get overly optimistic. They're chasing this pie in the sky, and they don't learn. So anyways, not to say you can't be optimistic and look forward. I just think that now that the dust is settled and I'm able to not look at it emotionally and just say, okay, what actually happened? Because who knows? What if I want to do something else in the future? I'm going to say, where could we have gone differently? And I think that, there's a lot to learn in what we did. And that's, again, why, to me, it's not a loss. Would I like to have that money back to put somewhere? Sure. But you learn. Like, you live and you learn. And that also will teach us now. It becomes one of your principles. And now the next time you try to make an investment or start an opportunity or invest in a tech startup or whatever, probably going to look back and say, if I wasn't running Cast and I just invested, would I have looked at it the same way? Anyways. So yeah, I don't consider it an L. And it wasn't the worst day. Shutting it down was not one of the worst days of my life. I don't even think. I can't even say one of the hardest. Do you know running the marathon was harder.
For me, it was like I felt not lost, because that's not the right word. I just felt like I was like, what was I doing? Like, I set up my life at metrics so well and so good that I was almost not important anymore. Because again, we were basically working on Cast all day, even nights, weekends, everything. So I went from working 70 hours trying to do things like every weekend at the park, every weekend do this, all waking hours thinking about, okay, what's the next thing? What are we doing? How are we going to get downloads? How are we going to do this? How are we going to blah, blah, blah? What's the next road trip look like? And then boom, all of a sudden I've got all this extra time to do fucking nothingness. And you guys know I can't do nothing. I can't just sit here and watch TV. So it's like, how do I fill 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 50 hours a week, or whatever the number is? You know what I mean? I'm just like, fuck, what the hell do I do here? That's why I think I went out for 13 out of 16 days. Just I'm going to go out and
right after it ended?
Oh, yeah. It was last Christmas holidays. I think I went out, or we shut down kind of mid-December-ish?
We made the call around then. We started freezing things, yeah.
Yeah. I think I went out fucking basically every night. Because I was like, I need to do something. What do I do? Okay, I went to the gym. There's an hour. Okay, 2 hours. Went to the gym twice. Okay, cool. I'm here. What do I do? I'm like, I'm not messaging people to get downloads. I'm not trying to fucking look at the stats to see what we can change to make things better. I'm like, hey, what the fuck do I do? Okay, well, hey, this guy messaged me to go for drinks. Okay, I'll go for drinks. Next thing you know, fucking 6 hours. I'm like, fuck, I just killed 6 hours. Did a great job. Okay, on to tomorrow, right?
It's so interesting how you look at life, man. Not saying it's right or wrong. I just think it's
nothing to do. It was crazy.
When I shut down, I was like, I need a break.
That's why I just did I made TikToks after.
That's the longest I've gone without taking a break from work. We worked truly, even the days I was hungover after we go to the park day and we had a great day, got to the studio, had drinks, and I woke up the next day a little bit hungover. I'd be back up ready to work. I think I missed one park day, maybe one or two.
Oh, you missed a lot.
I missed because I was in Europe. But the thing is, when I was in Europe, again, that's Bex. I was on my laptop the whole time.
I know. It's just different types of work, right? But even me, I think I missed one park day.
Yeah.
And that was fucked, because park days were people think they're just okay, you're out there, you're fun, you're working. But it's like, it's not that easy because there's days where you're fucking miserable. Like, you're just like, nobody wants to talk to me. What the fuck am I? And you got to fake, put on a smile and be like, oh, I got the best app in the world. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fucking people don't even want to talk to me. Like, I'm a fairly friendly, talkable person.
Anyways. It was, I don't know.
Anyways, the whole point of the story is that fucking this year's been crazy fun for me.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways.
Hey, everything happens for a reason, too. I end up fucking, we got to wrap up. Okay, Danny's giving us the cues.
I don't want to watch it. I've been going for a while. I remember at 7:30, so we're going to wrap up. It's been 24 more minutes.
Okay. On that note, George, good chat.
Good chat, brother.
Danny?
I really hope I gotta listen back to this because the beginning of this, I don't know if any of my thoughts made sense, but they were just spewing them out.
You can follow along. Danny, thoughts?
Great chat, pals.
Danny's like, fuck these guys, let's wrap up.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
If you listen to the end, I don't know how many you did, but we appreciate you. Thank you. Share this with your friends, and signing off. If you know any sponsors, hit us up.
If you want to go cool guests, send them over.
Peace.